Hey, I'm Paul Mack, and you're watching the AU Review.
Let's talk about the record. It's
Cool.
been a while in the making.
10 years in the making.
How far back does some of the material go?
Some of it started when I was touring. I was doing the Silverchair stuff with Powderfinger. We sort of went around Australia, and I was trying to write like one little piece per town. I just sort of start something, and so come up with a bunch of melodies and bass lines and stuff that way. And then it was just really slowly writing, trying different vocalists out, but mainly living. So you got something to write about. Having relationships, falling out of relationships, writing about the relationship. So it was just kind of evolving, and also but doing heaps of other stuff at the same time, like a couple of film scores with Kath and Kim, some theatre stuff, did some stuff with Frank Woodley, which is really cute. Bangara co-wrote a show with them, lots of production work, lots of remixes with my other band, Stereogamous, just loads and loads of stuff. But at the back of my mind was this sort of bunch of songs that I was trying to get together and finish. And they kept morphing. I'd find a new singer, and that would push it in a different direction. And then I'd write new songs for that direction, and then I'd lose some of the old ones. And it was only sort of in the last year, it's like, nah, I'm here. These are the songs. This is the album.
And as much as it's interesting you say that, because you kind of look at the list of people you're working with, Brendan McLean, Kira Peru, and those sort of people who are sort of up-and-comers of the scene. They're not people who were really active 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's really a snapshot of what's happening now as well in the kind of Sydney and greater Australian scene.
You're right. None of that was conscious, and somebody else pointed that out to me. It's really cool because there's a real snapshot of like Dave Mason from The Reels, who to me is a legend. Dave Mason, The Reels were like a 80s synth pop band who had one big massive song called Quasimodo's Dream, amongst others, but I was such a fan of The Reels. So to me, he's a legend. And then there's, people like Tim from Dappled Cities and Megan Washington, who was that sort of, established indie, beautiful, credible artists who I adore. And then I was just meeting like Brendan McLean. He said some really funny, bitchy tweet about me once. That's right. His tweet was, I think it was when Silverchair announced that they were going on hiatus or whatever, and he said, "I've always loved Silverchair since they were Nirvana in pajamas all the way through to Paul Mack and Friends." which somebody pointed out to me, and I just wrote to him and went, "Who the fuck are you? You're hilarious. Let's go and have a beer." And then we became really good friends, and then I started helping him with his demos and his music. So all of that was just super organic. And then one singer who I was working with went, "You've got to hear Kira Peru," and then found her, and she pointed me to her friend Benjamin Fraser. So it's just that sort of happy discovery, and you meet like-minded souls. Nathan from Faker, we've gone back for years, so him and Brendan do a gay duet. So it's just like, they've just got to be real. I hate dickheads. I hate ego maniacs. People that get the music and get into it and want to get involved. Yeah, I love it.
So what is the collaborative process like? Do you have the song ready to go when they sort of come in, the lyrics, or do they hear the music and add their own kind of spin to it?
Sometimes it's a bit of both. Sometimes I've got the song fully formed and it's like, here's the song, would you please sing it? Other times it could be a co-write, or I might have like a melody for a chorus but I'm not quite sure what the lyric is yet, or I might have the verse but I'm not quite sure what the chorus is yet, and the singer will contribute to that. Like the one with Tim Derricourt was awesome. I had like the kind of melody, but I didn't really know what it was about yet, and we were just talking about our favourite words, and I've just been reading something about anechoic chambers, and there was this whole space theme going on with the album for ages. It was almost called Inside Outer Space because I just like that term. And we're talking about in space it's all silent, and the word anechoic came up, and then he just riffed on that and started coming up with these really cool verses. And it was just really fun. You just bounce off each other. Megan Washington, we came out to do a co-writing session, and she's like, "I've got no lyrics. I've been writing for 2 weeks solid. I'm out of ideas." And I'd been out the night before, and I was still really devastated about this relationship that I was out of. and somebody's like, why are you still upset about him? He's such a fucking idiot. And then it's like, okay, I want to call this song Idiot. And it's called I'm in Love with an Idiot. So that was a starting point with her that we riffed on until we got the song. So it's a bit of a combination.
That sounds very Megan as well.
Yeah, totally.
And with artists like that, I mean, it must be an interesting proposition for them to be able to work in an EDM field and play around in soundscapes that they don't normally, experiment in. Especially Kira, who's that was. I mean, it's such a different sound for someone like her, who's
I think those singers like Kira just discover a new world. Her world's amazing, and I love what she does. But I think when when I push the singers really hard in the studio, Nairi always says that too. It's kind of like, but they really like the way they sound at the end of it. And I think Kira sounded amazing because she brings that more sort of ballsy, rootsy kind of thing to it, but with this sort of pristine techno production that just becomes this other thing. I think it's good for like Dave Mason for the Reels. I don't think he'd ever worked in that sort of scenario ever, so it was kind
of a little different to Quasimodo's.
yeah. But he added this unbelievable line that to me makes the song. He just did this downward walking sort of melody line thing that was absolutely the Reels, and it was like, wow, you made my day, mister. That's the bomb. You made the song. So yeah, it's good. It's good taking people out of their guitar-y backdrops and you hear their voice in a new light. I think as a listener, that's always fun.
And where does the album take you after it's released? Are you going to be back on the road?
I don't know. I honestly don't know about touring. I think the bummer is like the thing that I used to really love about touring on the last two albums was we had like a 10-piece band and it was like, 6 singers and 4 people in the band and me, and we'd tour around, but it would lose money, but that was to promote the album, but now nobody buys albums, so you can't lose money on the tour. So it's kind of like, I don't know is the answer. We'll see. If there's excitement, then maybe there'll be a tour. If there isn't, then maybe there'll be DJ shows. But I kind of don't care anymore. Honestly, I just got this album here, and it's out, and it's ready to share, and that's as far as I can think at the moment.